Night Stalker, you're now handcuffed to this suicide bomber. Girls who want your baby just to abort it. Case studies who are convinced that calling you 42 times a day, carving your name on their leg, and throwing bar stools at any woman who happens to shake your hand will make you love them as much as they love you. That's why I strap a phone book to my chest and buy a mulch and electrify fence if I ever plan to break up. But ladies, I'm single. I'm here for exactly one more night. So, let me be your therapy. Your whipping bitch with black eyes and busted lips, because after all these crazy women later, I haven't learned a single lesson falling in love with any woman who'd use her own tampon as a weapon. So, to the crazy woman in this room, blow me a kiss, flush your pills, and kill your therapist. Meet me at the bar and let's throw 2 Molotov cocktails down the hatch, because tonight you're an arsonist who just met their match.
Yeah!
I've fucked more people than there are in this room, but that's alright. How many people know Renee? Raise your hand. Give Renee a little more love here right now. That's it. You gotta do it. For those who don't know Renee enough, she has her own hotel room tonight. Just putting it out there.
Woo!
After party at Renee's hotel room. The Hollywood
She asked me to do this piece, and some of you may have heard it. I'm gonna do it anyways, even though it's dangerous every time I do it, and you'll find out why. And yes, it's true. All of it's true. Every family has their black sheep.
Oh yeah.
On my mother's side, our black sheep was a shepherd who enslaved his own flock. The king of the Khans, a man who made himself a messiah even though he never called himself a god. Even tonight, his words are buried in a titanium vault hidden miles underground, so if every fucking one of us goes extinct, his words will still survive. He was a subject we never talked about at the kids' table of family reunions, but he was my great-grandfather, L. Ron Hubbard. Lafayette's Ron Hubbard. He started as a storyteller, a science fiction writer, a golden-tongued grifter with a gift of gab who could write a book in any genre in an hour while the publishers waited downstairs. Just another name on dime store pulp mags, paid only a penny a page until 1949 when he said, "You want to know how you really get rich? You start a religion." A year later, he kept to his word, wrote Dianetics, transforming science fiction into fact until you could pay to flatline your mind for a fee. Overnight, he went from pennies to a profit until the world demanded to see his evidence, but Elron knew if you don't have facts, all you need is faith. So he transformed his science into a religion, and Scientology was born. A few years later, his son arrived. Abandoned by his father as he sought fame and fortune, abandoned and born premature at 2 pounds, 2 ounces, now he emerged to take his part of the new family business. He was my grandfather, L. Ron Hubbard Jr. Carrying his father's name in his red hair, he became his right-hand disciple and helped construct the church for years until he realized he was only another accomplice. Trained in the arts of electrified hypnosis, beatdowns, and blackmail, it took him a decade to see the holes behind the holy, the man behind the myth, his father. Stuffing thousands of dollars in a shoebox he kept hidden underneath his bed, his father. Burning incriminating documents before dawn, his father. Escaping criminal charges as he ran from state to state as Junior watched his friends' banks broken, brains washed. Sickened by what he had seen behind the curtain, in 1959, Junior left. But his father always understood revenge better than redemption. So he stalked his son with wiretaps, break-ins, and death threats. My grandfather coming home to a mailbox full of pictures of my aunts and uncles playing alone and unguarded on empty playgrounds to remind him, the eye of the pyramid never blinks. While all my aunts and uncles were taught how to use a gun, the son, forced to live like his father, permanently on the run until he changed his last name from Hubbard to DeWolf. A lie to protect him from ever having to tell the truth again. When your father has invented a religion in your lifetime, there's no sun big enough to ever escape his shadow. But there's a thin line between prophecy and psychosis, and the barefaced Messiah ran, an international outlaw on a ship, escaping extradition, his sanity slipping until he could no longer tell his own past from fiction, until one day, he vanished. Before a courtroom or a jail cell could ever make him real again. Junior, now buried in debt, litigated the Holy Ghost to prove he still had flesh. Junior, now a dying diabetic with an amputated foot, battered from a decade of wars against the man who carried his same name, until the night his father died, alone, in hiding, cremated the next morning, leaving only a legacy of ashes. The church offered the son their final offer. Arrest your tongue. Swallow the truth for one last check, or you and your next of kin will suffer a lifetime of threats. So he signed away his silence and took his secrets and 2 heart attacks to his grave. Another victim the church stopped pretending to save. On Thanksgiving, in a house a self-made God paid for, his great-grandchildren never said his name. He was the one God we never gave grace to. One day when he was still alive, my grandfather took me to a bookshelf, showed me volumes of his father's works, and he said, "Your mom says you want to be a writer. Well, don't believe everything you read, but believe everything you say." I never met the man who gave me my red hair and the manic depression still twisted in the strains of my DNA. And the first time I saw a psychiatrist, and he asked me if mental illness runs in my family, all I could say was, "Fuck yeah, yes." When I told him that my great-grandfather was a cult leader who had enslaved the minds of millions, he accused me of having delusions of grandeur. What can I say? It runs in the family. I've gone in secret even last month, and you can all go there. It's at Hollywood and Vine, to the L. Ron Hubbard Life Exhibit, taking on a tour of a life he never led. My family written out of existence, and his latest victim will never know the legacy of lies I still carry in my last name, DeWolf, a cover story to protect us from his true children. The army of empty who greet me in train stations with an e-meter and a personality test. Their red-haired God grinning from a back cover. And they ask me if I've ever heard of a man named